Welcome back to From 9 to Mom.
Where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos that we call motherhood.
And we have to kick it off with a story. Last night, I thought I was like being punked in my house, or like, I don't know, God himself was like coming down into our home. So before bed last night, we, bath night, did the bath, and I was with Jack getting him dressed for bed. And all of a sudden he looks at me like, I literally had his little pull up like training pants on for bed. And he looks at me, he goes, "Mommy, I don't need my binky anymore. I'm going to go give it to Kelvin." I'm like, what? Okay.
Nowhere.
Literally out of nowhere. This was completely unprompted. We haven't been talking about that to him since he hurt his teeth around Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. So you almost had to take it away anyway.
So we were going to take it away over Christmas break, and then he bumped his mouth and hurt his two front teeth. And we were like, all right, like, we can't take it away now. He's freaking injured. Like, that's so mean.
Cruel.
It felt way too bad. Yeah, it really did feel cruel. So we're like, you have to let him have it. And then we were like, all right, like, February break. And I know that, like, we just kept being like, we'll put it off because it's one of those things where we knew if we take it, we're not going to sleep. But doesn't this kid just look at me? Yeah, I'm a big boy. I don't need it anymore, so I'm just going to go give it to Kelvin.
Yeah, I'd definitely be looking for Ashton Kutcher. Like, where are you, bro? Like, this is a joke. Because Colton had to rip that thing from his mouth. Did it work? I'm
literally looking at him. So he goes and he keeps it under his pillow. We only let him have one. Like, he has one he doesn't use it any other time but in his bed. So he pulls it out from under his pillow, walks it in Kelvin's room. He's like, "Kelvin, this is yours now," and goes and puts it in his crib. Ryan looks up at me because he's in there with Kale, and he's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "I don't know, like something." Like, I don't know. So then Jack goes in, lets me get him dressed, and he's like, "Yeah, Mommy, I don't need it." So then, of course, I'm like, I don't want to talk about it anymore to like make him rethink. So I don't even talk about it. We go downstairs, watch a movie. He likes to like lay low. We go back upstairs and we're reading books, and he just keeps telling me like, "I don't need it. I don't need it." And I'm like, okay. Like,
and you guys have never talked about it, schooled it, nothing.
Not that I can, not recently. Like, we've talked about before Christmas, we were telling him like, "You're a big boy. You don't need your binky anymore. We're going to whatever." And we were giving him options. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to do a binky bear? Do you want to just give it to, we did tell him he could give it to Kelvin, but this was a month.
Dude, the kids are sponges. But this is wild.
All of a sudden, like, just randomly, like, all out of the blue, because I had no intention of taking it from him this week or, in the coming weeks, really. So, yeah, he went and put it in there. We went and read books, and then he was like, yeah, like, kept telling me, and I was like, "Listen, buddy, if you don't need it all night, we'll go get a toy tomorrow." And he's like, "Really? Can we look at them?" And he's like, "Yeah." So he knows that you could look at Target on your phone.
Smart
kid.
So
I pull out my phone. We're looking at Target. He's like, "Can you look for the Spidey toys?" So he's like, "We should get that one. No, this one. No, this one." He takes my phone and is like
add
scrolling.
It to cart? Colton will be like, "I'm adding this one to cart. I'm going to add this one to cart."
He doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know that that's like that. He hasn't put it together. So I'm like, "Yeah, we can get that." So like, I'm gonna probably after pickup today have to drop $50 on a Spidey toy. If he just went, it took him a little longer, but he didn't cry. He didn't nothing.
That's incredible.
Went
like,
to
that's
sleep.
Like not real. Colton was way too old.
This doesn't happen to me. Like, that doesn't happen.
You want to know what, though? That doesn't happen to anybody. So it does happen to you because you are the 1%. So, like, that has
true.
never
You're right.
happened.
This is the reverse.
This is the reverse. So, like, maybe it could work out in the good, too, because Colton, I pried that thing from his cold, crying.
Literally, I thought
like,
I was... Remember, I've been
hands.
asking you, like, about, like, what am I going to do? What worked with that? But, like, what worked with Colton? Like, you had to take it, like... He was upset.
He was too old. So here's what I will say. Like, we just went to the pediatrician and for Daisy's 2-year checkup. And he was like, "Everything looks great, but I got to tell you, time to let like the passy go today. Yeah. And I like looked at him, I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Like, totally." But I looked at her and I was like, hell no.
Don't worry. We're not.
You're good. Shh. A, because... I feel bad, and B, because like you said, it makes her sleep, it's her comfort, and to be honest, she's my last baby, and when that Binky's gone, it's like something about it, like we're not feeding them milk anymore, they're not swaddled anymore.
We've already given up
enough, and now I'm gonna take her Binky away, and I know like it's one of those things though that you hit a point, and my girlfriend's going through this. It's one of my best friends that I talk about all the time. Her daughter and Daisy are future besties, but she turned 2 today. Happy birthday, Ellie, if you're listening. Yay. But she's done breastfeeding. Like, she's been talking to her daughter about no more milk. She was only doing once a day, but it was like emotional and like connection. Sure. So she's like, "Hell no, I'm not doing the Binky yet. Like, I can't do that yet." But
right.
it's like, when is the right time? So everybody gave us advice. Like we've talked about Binky fairy. I tried that with Colton. We would put the Binky under the pillow. The fairy's going to come. And he'd be like, maybe not tonight. Maybe not tonight, mommy. Like the Binky fairy's not going to come. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then like give it to your sister. I'll get you a prize. Let's do it. Put it in the ground, in the lollipop tree, whatever. I did not care what lie I had to tell this child.
You're like,
to take his Binky away. Because guys, if you want to feel like a better parent, today's your day. Colton got rid of his Binky right before he turned 6 years old. I've never met another kid who's had a Binky until 6 years old. It's mortifying, I know. But he's just so sweet, and he was so upset. And when I'm telling you, he was just far too old. So I think you were given a gift, because Jack's almost about to turn the corner of too old.
Yeah, so he'll be 3.5 in March for everyone's reference.
While you were talking,
we knew it was too long.
I looked, and
I just researched something
between 2 and 4. Like you should get rid of the Binky between ages 2 and 4.
I think too, I think the doctors start talking about it like at
18 months.
Yeah, at Cal's last appointment, they were like, what's going, like, does he use a Binky, like that? But I think they do look at their teeth, and they can tell instantly, like when we took Jack into the dentist at, which is a whole nother conversation.
It is dentist time.
Yeah. And he, I think we got to get him into that kid's mouth is going to be, he's going to make me broke from braces.
You will have to take him, because they just told me about Daisy, and I was thinking about taking her anyways, but you have to take her now that she's 2. She's got all
so
these
there's
teeth.
whatever. There's so many rules. I did talk to our dentist, because I obviously waited too long with Jack, but like it was purely out of me being scared to take him. Like I'm like, he's gonna bite this dentist, he's gonna scream.
No, they're so good with that. It's unreal.
But again, and maybe this is a Jack thing, because now that I'm like looking back, I was so worried about taking Jack to the dentist, because he hates haircuts. He doesn't want anyone touching his face.
I forgot about
I can't even wipe his nose. Like he doesn't still right now, he doesn't he freaks out. So I was so worried to take him, but like Jack had his teeth really early. Like he was
Colton too. They were the same. Remember, Colton had a full mouth of teeth at 8 months.
So they say you can go at 12 months, but then I heard people being like, well, they don't even do anything. They brush them and that. So the dentist
I took Colton at 12 months because he had a full mouth of teeth. Yeah.
So no, I wasn't. But he was
like,
Katie,
yeah, like you
can brush them. It all worked out fine. Jack has no cavities, perfect teeth. We're fine. The Binky's just gotta go. And yeah, Jack went in there, same thing. I thought he was gonna fight me. He went and laid up on the bed by himself, like just asked me to hold his hand.
Because they let him play with all the toys. They didn't brush Colton's teeth. Colton still hasn't. He's 6, and we still go in there, and they don't really clean his teeth. They brush them.
So they did Jack's. They did the spinny brush all on his teeth.
Dude, this kid, though, he's going to have a shit fit. Like, I'm not going to lie. I've ripped out every single one of his teeth. And for those of you, I know this is like bleeding into teeth.
He's at losing age.
5 of them. Okay. And I pulled them all out. But I am the worst parent on planet Earth. I was decided for this, but also the best. I love ripping teeth out. But that's the biggest reason I think they do say to take the Binky away. Like, yeah, there's overdependence. Yeah, there's all these other things. But it's because their teeth, their mouth is forming. And all that time is going to make their palate like the buck tooth, Danielle Pavone syndrome. I sucked my thumb till I was in 5th grade. So I know what a lifetime of braces looks like. I'm on to Invisalign now after 5 years of braces. So,
but here's the other thing is, all right, like Jack, his teeth look great still. Like the doctor's like, they're not bad from using the Binky from that. Yeah. So like, don't worry about it. I just looked it up. Anywhere from 50 to 75% of kids these days need braces. So
so it doesn't matter.
The Binky an extra 6 months is not gonna freaking get you out of braces, because everyone fucking needs them. Like
the other thing I saw was like increased risk of middle ear infections. I didn't know that. Why? What does that have to do with anything?
Wait, if you get rid of it, having them is I've never heard that.
So the one thing I'm reading here about the dentist, and I could see this because poster child did suck my thumb until I was in 5th grade, as I said, until I got my braces on. That's the day I stopped. Is that you can have jaw or bite complications, and that was my biggest thing. My teeth straightened fine. It's just I still have, like, my jaw is still over, and like trying to, like, no matter what we did, like it got corrected better, but it's still like, it's not just the crooked teeth, it's the overbite, which is a lot harder to correct. But once they start losing teeth, I do think like that it becomes different, because now their big people teeth are coming in, and there's a different like anxiety about big people teeth. You don't want to mess with big people teeth. And Colton, you know, with his, if you want tips, I did like let him swear every time I wiggled his tooth the one time, which was really funny and really inappropriate. I also gave him a minute of screen time once every time I pulled his tooth out. I love pulling teeth out. So he's lost so many. Yeah, I know. I've always liked it. I should have been a dentist.
Touch him. I'm not going to touch him.
I will gladly come home and rip their teeth out for you any way possible. It is literally one of my favorite things to do.
No.
I don't know what it is.
No.
Does that mean I'm like a psychopath or something? Sick freak?
It's got to.
Something's wrong. But now that he's there, like, and that's where the Binky, like, came into play. It came to a point where, A, like, you're way too old. You're going to get invited to sleepovers. You can't go over there with a Binky. A, B, it's really going to jack up your real people teeth. I know from experience, so don't do it. But now trying to get him to brush is even more important too. And the kid is lazy as shit. Like the kid does not want to brush his teeth. He's just like so distracted and like
make you do it.
So I had to download an app. Okay. I went to OT last night and they gave me 2 apps. I'm going to tell you what they are. One's a Pokemon Go game. It's called Pokemon Smile. And they brush their teeth and catch Pokemon while they brush to get them all over.
That's good.
And then I can't remember what the other one's called because I haven't used it yet. But it's something about a monster where they, like, on their tablet, they brush their teeth and they have to move their head, like, and it, like, tracks them. Because my 6-year-old won't brush his teeth well enough.
Yeah, it needs to be coerced into it. I get it. I think, too, like, I remember with Jack it being a nightmare to get him to do it at first, like, at all. And then, like, I used to have to pin him down to do it. But with Kale, like, the easiest thing has been is like letting him do it how Jack does it. He just wants to follow how Jack does
Daisy's
it now.
the same.
So like
brush.
It was a different game.
Mommy brush.
Yeah.
She loves brushing her teeth.
Yeah, Kale too. He like loves it. He's like, get me a cup of water. I need to he's like wants to just hang out in there. He just likes being at the stand, like up on the sink.
He wants to be in the room where it happens, you know?
He's that guy. So that has been an easier transition. Like I was trying to like put Kale down and like brush it, you know, with like the whatever. But then the dentist told me too, like with Kale, so I registered both of them when we went to the dentist in December. And I was like, should I bring Calvin in? Like, now he's like, keep him on the same thing. Bring him for the next, when you bring Jack for his next 6 months. Don't even worry about it. Because he's still got a couple teeth coming in. They're not all in yet.
Oh, yeah.
So
neither are Daisy's, honestly.
He's like, don't worry about it till they're all there, like, is when we start doing anything anyway. And then he was like, next time Jack comes in, we'll likely do x-rays for the first time to like check everything.
Your dentist is like moving quick. Mine like is a little slower to the punch, but like I feel like they're trying to like get them comfortable with everything. And I don't know. I know that it's all personal. I feel like a lot of this is medically like the pediatricians and all of them are going to like say what they need to say medically because they're right. Like you should do this, you should do that. Like this is the right timeline.
And they probably know that they're going to have to tell you every 6 months for the next 2 years. So like starting to tell you at a certain time like puts it in your brain to think that.
It's like lying to my mom and telling her that the party starts an hour earlier. Like we have to do it if we want her to show up.
If you want to be on time. But I think too, like everyone has opinions about the Binkies, like people, and everyone calls them something different.
Binky, Passy, Nook, like Nook or Nubby. I've heard people say.
My father-in-law calls it the titty, so that's what Calvin calls it.
No way.
TT.
So your kids running around saying titty.
Titty.
Golden spelled titty the other day for me perfectly.
Wow.
Kid's great speller. He's like, mommy, titties, and like pointed to them and then spelled Tittie. I was like, wow.
It's a genius.
Great. Said, where did you learn that? And he's like, nowhere. Said, you definitely learned it somewhere, bro. School.
Yeah. It's so crazy. But like, when they're so little, like newborn, in the hospital, they give a Binky. They don't always use it all the time.
Well, did you always know you wanted to give the kids a Binky? Because I wasn't going to give Colton a Binky.
I didn't even think that there was an option to not give one. Like,
I didn't give him one. And the doctors one night we called, come to find out my breast milk wasn't enough. And they told me to give him a Binky, and it was like a gift from the heavens. So
well, I think some people say that like the Binky helps with sucking. So like if they need to build up the muscles for drinking, like that was what I had seen. I never thought
I was told it
otherwise.
Created nipple confusion.
See, that's why there's so many things. It's like,
I don't know, man.
Who freaking cares? Go off of what your kid likes.
You do
and
you.
The amount of kinds of Binkies there are. Like,
okay, but what Binky did you like? What my kids use 2 different kinds.
So they both use the exact same ones, like the literal same ones. They just get passed down. The Tommy Tippy.
See, we didn't use those. Colton uses like the actual Nook, like the green blue pacifier. Well, he doesn't anymore. And then Daisy uses the Ma'am, like so the little ones that have like the white circle in the middle.
Yep. Yeah.
And I tried. I really wanted both kids to
Use cool ones.
like the itsy ritzy ones,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
cute ones. Like I was like, oh, Daisy
No.
especially, she's gonna love these. B did not
Absolutely
like
not.
them at all.
So the other thing is so with Tommy Tippy, and I know most of them, I'm just uneducated with other binkies because we only use the one kind, but their sizes are like
Yeah,
months.
most of them have it,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I figured. So the Tommy Tippy's like 0 to 6 months, and they're so little, and then like up from there. With Jack, I like moved him with all of them. With Calvin, that kid's still using a newborn one some nights.
Yeah,
He doesn't care.
I
He's
didn't
like,
care.
he's
Daisy
like, I
has
don't
no clue.
discriminate. He does any of them, but then I also, Michelle had just said, her pediatrician said it's not good to have them use the little kid ones because they have to close their mouth even further to get to the nipple on that one.
Oh.
They need the bigger nipple because their size of mouth's different, so it's actually worse for them to do that. So we've been slowly taking those ones out and like putting in these other
I know
ones.
Daisy's like a Binky hoarder. Like when you said Jack has one Binky, Daisy has like an army of Binkies.
Kelvin has like the other 50 that we have, but like but with him, we've been trying to work towards that. So he just has he's not allowed to have it anywhere else. It was just in his bed.
Yeah,
so,
Daisy's finally like not really using it. She doesn't use it at school. She doesn't use it in public. We keep it for like the car, in home. But I think like the first thing we're going to do, like we did this with Colton too. Like you said, no Binky during the day. You can have it in your bed.
Yes.
So, or during like the bedtime routine. Like if I'm rocking her in the chair, like you can have your Binky.
Yeah.
But,
which I think is helpful because then it's like starts putting it in that. But yeah, it's everyone
I
has
just can't
different
believe he
schools of thought.
decided it himself.
I don't know.
Like that is just a gift.
It was a true
Such a
miracle
gift.
because I don't know what would have been the
Give him
alternative
every
at this
Spider-Man
point.
toy he could
I
ever
will
want.
happily go buy him something at Target today.
Right?
I just was like so shocked. I was like, how? I never thought we'd get rid of it, but this is motivating me to get rid of Calvin's earlier, I think, before he recognizes.
But also it's like sad. It's like the end of an era. Like I feel so
I have to throw them all out? Like that's so sad.
I know I texted you this yesterday. But like we're both our husbands are obviously, I keep saying fixed like they're animals, but they're snipped. I don't know what to call it. They're fixed, whatever. And like thank God, because if Jordan wasn't, I would definitely be pushing for another baby right now. Like, I don't know what my problem is. Like, I think because my kid is 2, like, she's 2 and she's definitely a toddler, like, diva. That little baby was so cute yesterday, Catie. Tracksuit, Adidas tracksuit, Adidas beanie, Adidas shoes like yours, but with the, like, Velcro. And I was like, I kept looking at I felt like such a creep. I kept looking at this couple's baby being like, he is so beautiful.
Take your baby.
I wanted to be like, can I hold him? Please. But I didn't.
So I was just telling Michelle this because, like, I'm like, oh, like looking at baby clothes and like little girl clothes and all that. And I'm like, oh, it's so cute. Like another baby, like it would be so cute. And then we were looking at like, she's been going through clothes to like organize stuff of like what boy stuff she can keep for you know, the baby. And she's sending us pictures because it's all our hand-me-downs too. So she's like, I can't get rid of this one. And then we're sending the pictures that like coincide with that outfit. And we're like going through all that. And I came across one picture of me pregnant with Calvin. Had to have been like right before I gave birth to him. Like it was huge. And I go, this is my picture that I look at anytime I get baby fever. I will look at this picture.
I have a picture. It's me, Jordan, and it's before Colton. I'm so big. I have Mora, tiny little Mora in my arms on my belly in front of like the Christmas tree. And I'm like, nope, no, thank you. That's the picture that I look at, but not actively. Like I don't. When I see it, I feel that way. So maybe I need to put it as my background on my phone right now. What?
So you know how you can do the widgets? You can make one picture, you're like a widget on your phone.
I should do it.
But yeah, I was like, I sent it to Michelle and she's like, oh my God. I was like, this is how you can't do it, Catie. Stop. Who cares?
It's done. It's
Hug
over.
Everyone else's baby. Go take care of babies.
Give them back.
And like, you can't go through that again. But it's just, it was a true miracle. But I'm curious now, like, with Kale, like he's recently, because Jack gave it to him now, like he likes the binkies and he uses them the most at our house, but it is like a comfort thing. Anytime he's crying, that's what gets rid of it. Yeah. We've been struggling in the car right now. We're driving in the car 10 minutes anywhere he goes. Oh, and he's screaming.
Welcome to the club
right now. And so like the binky helps in the car, but like we were trying to not have any binkies in the cars, but like I have to, or he screams and then I'm distracted because he's screaming so loud. Like,
yeah, but like it's like what's the worst worst case scenario anyway. Here?
He's gonna need braces. Like what? Like either way. But you're right. Like some of the, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I just can't even believe like Daisy's 2. Belle's gonna be 2 this year. Like that's wild to me. And then thinking back to where Jack was at 2.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
I made Colton's in a phase of like, he's very emotional and he's like talking, like kids and stuff schools say things and whatever. And I made him look at pictures of, he said like, you don't love me, which he does at nighttime to try and like get us to cuddle him.
Oh, I'm not ready.
But you have to acknowledge it because you don't want to let modern parenting is really freaking tough. You know, so I'm like, Colton, we love you so much. It's ridiculous. I was like, do you want to see some pictures? So I made him, and the kid's so emotional. I made him look at pictures of him, like, who's this? He's like, Colton and Daddy. I'm like, who's this? Colton, Mommy. And we're going through and he starts sobbing and he's like, I'm like, why are you crying? He goes, because of what I said and now these pictures, I love you too. Like, it was so cute, but he gets so emotional looking at himself as a baby. And I'm like, no, he's getting emotional because he's getting older and understanding what older looks like. And then I'm like, oh, my little tiny
his
nugget is 4'3". Like, what? So it's a lot. So it's just crazy how fast it goes. And I'm like, the problems we're going to be thinking about, binkies are a big deal, like right now. Binkies are a big deal, but someday, like to the older moms out there, it's not binkies. It's like other things made of plastic, which is scary. Like they just keep growing. Like
I know it's scary, but I think too, like we had given somebody advice in our group. They were trying to take the binky away like before their kid was even 1.
Yeah.
I feel like once you start, you kind of got to go with it, and it's really hard to get rid of it at any age, I think. After one night, like I'm talking this big game, like guys, I probably am not going to sleep tonight. Like he'll be up like 5 times. But at this point, we have to go. We have to.
Like, and that's the biggest thing with kids is like that I've learned and made mistakes. Like, but learn through those mistakes. It's consistency. Like whatever you say you're going to do, you do it. And when they say they're ready, you do it. Like you have to be consistent because the confusion, it takes their brain like. Their brain's not developed the way like ours is, and we still need consistency. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna.
You got to stay strong now, Catie.
I wasn't planning on it, but here we are. So
stay strong, my friend.
Let's go for it. But I think with that, it's time for us to clock out. And clock back in. Oh
yeah. Before we
need
clock
to do
out,
book club.
Book club. So stay around. We're clocking out of this conversation. If you guys are reading the book with us.
It's our spoiler alert.
It's our spoiler alert. If you're not, have a great day. But I got to talk about it because I finished it. And I know I text you. And
yes, but you can't do all the spoilers because I'm
not
going to
do
read
spoilers. I'm not going to do spoilers. What I want to give you is this. This book was so hard to get into. That first day was so depressing. And like, especially like you were saying, like if you've had any fertility issues whatsoever, it was so I feel like it was triggering. It was so sad. And when I realized she's my age, then I was even more like sad. Like what is happening? Like this is so depressing. I can't read this book. But my friend's the one who wrote me. I was like, I loved that book. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to continue.
I have to. Yeah.
I have to. And then I trudged through the next day, which is like, if you're not reading it, like if you're not there yet, but the days
broken up in the days.
And so then I got to Wednesday and I started reading through Wednesday. And then there's like, it started getting better.
So I got to tell you where I'm at right now. Okay. Because now I remember, because I took a few days off to like get into it.
Get mentally well.
I think I'm still in Wednesday.
Wednesday's a very long time.
Yeah. They just got to the boat.
The boat is funny.
To go out on the boat. She just found out that the groom is the guy that she said talk to in the house.
Well, and that's where like I feel it starts to turn, like it does start to turn there because it gets like, obviously this is the plot twist, like the funny like plot twist, but the boat is good and then it just keeps getting better and you're gonna get to a part and I won't like spoil it.
Do mini spoilers. It's okay.
Like there are 3 parts of this book where I was laughing so hard. Jordan does not care about anything I have to do, but you're going to know immediately when you read I'm not going to spoiler it, my favorite scene of the book. You will know immediately when you read it.
All right.
But the precursor to that where I started, like, I could not stop laughing about it. It's a scene where the daughter says, don't worry, I'm going to lick it up like a priest. And I could not stop laughing. I'm not going to tell you what. And I just kept laughing and like telling Jordan about it. He's like, okay, cool. And then I got to the next part, but it gets like, there's just a couple funny,
okay, I can get behind funny. I like that.
It's funny. Like I just couldn't stop laughing at these like stories. Like, but what I found by the end is like, it's a feeling of, and I don't want to give anything away to you, but I do think like it's a lesson in, have you ever read Untamed, or like
if I read anything.
So in there, like, so Glennon Doyle wrote a book about like, I think it's Untamed. Is that what is the title? Sorry, Glennon Doyle, you're amazing if I said it wrong. But the first chapter is about a tiger who's in it. She's definitely not listening.
Definitely not
but
listening.
if you are by some grace of chance. You're amazing. So she talks about women and like feeling like, and this book isn't just for women, it's like for men. It talks about what men go through too. So I thought it was very well balanced. It's just the human experience. Okay. And I feel like we go into life, like life is, and I always say this, but I don't know. The book explains how I feel about life at the end. Like life is just so like beautiful and precious and like every day's a gift, but we forget because we get sucked into this hole of like mundane, like every day and every moment isn't great, but it doesn't mean it's not like a gift to be alive. And I think what we do sometimes is we get into these like, we start putting ourselves in a cage to be the person that we think we should be, right? And every decision we make, everything we say is spent trying to fit into this box that you've created or someone has created for you, and you don't actually live your life. So you're alive, but you're like not living. And I think this book does a really good job about like how freeing it just is to be honest with yourself. Like first, like be honest with your own emotions and feelings. Like I lied, like you lie to yourself so much about what you want, what you feel, what you think to protect yourself and others. And then like to be able to take it a step further and just like say the truth. There's another, I just thought of another part of the book. I can't ruin it.
All right, I'm going to get through some.
I can't
so that next, what is it? We still have one more week of
But
January.
do you still not like it? Like, are you not there yet? It's still not good yet.
No, it was better. Like, it was a little better last night, the section I read. So, like, if I keep going, like, I'm sure the boat is going to be a funny or cute, I don't know, scene. And then we'll go from there. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to finish it. I said I was going to do it, so regardless of what I felt, but we'll get through it. So
it's like a good sitcom, the character development. You know how sometimes like sitcoms are slow in the beginning, like I don't know if I like
well, I'm at the point where I'm like I'm almost halfway through the book and I'm not hooked yet, but so like maybe I'm going to get, I don't know.
I will say it was like a very slow roll book, but
like I'm looking at it and I'm like, it's literally, we're halfway through and it's only Wednesday, which is also like,
it's very strange. That part is strange.
I don't know, but I think so next week we should do like a full book recap. I'll try to be done.
If you're not done, we'll do whatever we got. You know, we'll do whatever we got.
But I think it's, we got to keep going through it. But I have to go pick up Jack from preschool, so we have to end.
All right, so with that, we're clocking out.
It's not the 9 to 5, but it's mom, and then I'll be back to work.
Yeah, it's mom life. So clock out.
All right.
Good luck.
See you guys next time.
Bye.